From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the ceremonial handover of 387 patient transport vehicles or PTVs to local government units or LGUs across Luzon. This marked the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO's greatest single-day distribution of medical vehicles to date. Talking to local chief executives from Luzon at the Quirino Grandstand in Manila, President Marcos underlined his administration's commitment to universal healthcare access by guaranteeing that every city and municipality in the country has at least one medical transport vehicle by the end of 2025.
Kaya, pag natapos natin lahat ito, by the end of the year, masasabi na natin, lahat ng city and municipality ay nabigyan na natin ng ating patient transport vehicle. Ang plano natin sa susunod, dahil siyempre yung ibang bayan, mas malaki sa ibang bayan, yung city, mas malaki sa ibang city, titignan ngayon natin kung ano yung pangangailangan. We have to base it already on the population ng bawat lugar. So, yung malalaki talaga, kahit nabigyan ng isa, kailangan balikan natin dahil sa laki ng kanilang populasyon, kailangan natin maserbisyuhan lahat. Kaya yun ang babalikan natin. We now have today in Luzon, sa Ilocos 30, Cagayan Valley 72, Central Luzon 100, Calabarzon 27, Mimaropa 59, Bicol Region 64, at Ancar 35.
Each truck is equipped with a stretcher, an oxygen tank, a blood pressure monitor, and other critical medical equipment to provide safe and fast emergency response and patient transportation. President Marcos stated that from June 2022 to June 2025, a total of 680 PTVs were distributed nationwide. The current batch for Luzon is part of a larger rollout that includes 123 PTVs for Visayas and 105 for Mindanao. The transaction is part of PCSO's Medical Transport Vehicle Donation Program, which seeks to strengthen grassroots health systems by providing mobility and logistical support to local governments, particularly those in distant and underserved areas.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said that the government is working toward a long-term objective of providing completely subsidized healthcare to all Filipinos, removing the need for patients to pay out of pocket for medical care. Speaking at the distribution of medical transport trucks in Manila's Quirino Grandstand, President Marcos said that the administration's priorities include not only boosting emergency response equipment, but also strengthening and expanding access to the country's healthcare system. The president said that plans are ongoing to renovate public hospitals, construct specialized centers, and expand bagong urgent care and ambulatory service or bukas clinics for non-emergency conditions that do not necessitate detention. He highlighted that in addition to enhancing infrastructure and services, the government is trying to reduce the financial burden on patients with the ultimate goal of eliminating all out-of-pocket healthcare payments. President Marcos said that after the economy stabilizes, the government might cover the entire cost of hospital care with just modest administrative costs comparable to other countries' universal healthcare systems. The president admitted that the current system and budget are insufficient to support a no-payment model, but reassured the people that the government is realigning priorities to achieve that goal. The remarks are part of the Marcos administration's larger effort to promote public health access, particularly for low-income and marginalized regions. During the ceremony, 387 patient transport vehicles or PTVs were handed over to local government units in Luzon, marking the Philippine Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office largest single-day distribution of such vehicles to date. Within the next week, an additional 123 units will be delivered to Visayas LGUs and 105 to Mindanao.
Kaya't ipagpapatuloy namin ang pagpapatibay hindi lamang sa paramihan nitong transport vehicle, kundi pati na ang buong health system natin, buong healthcare system natin. Inaayos natin ang ating mga ospital, linagyan na natin ng mga specialty centers. Meron tayong ng bago, yung tinatawag na bukas na center para sa mga karamdaman na hindi naman kailangan na ma-ospital, na ma-confine. Lahat po yan. Yung PhilHealth, pinaparami natin ang insurance coverage, pinaparami natin ang serbisyong ibinibigay ng PhilHealth, binababaan natin ang payment, ang bayad. Kasi kahit papano, yung pasyente, pagka magpapatingin o magpapagaling, ay meron pa rin kontribusyon. Dahan-dahan namin babawasan yung kontribusyon ng pasyente. At kung tayo ay magawa natin, pag naayos natin ang ating ekonomiya na mabuti at kaya na natin, ay kaya naman siguro natin, wala nang kontribusyon ng pasyente. Bigyan na lang natin ng siguro yung kagaya sa ibang lugar na nakikita ko, na nasubukan ko, administrative cost lang. Wala yun, mga 100 piso yun. Tama na yun. Yun lang ang siguro na ibigay nila. That is the aspiration.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang requested a more thorough inquiry into the suspected disappearances of individuals involved in online and illegal cockfighting. According to Presidential Communications Office, PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. wants to guarantee that justice is done, particularly for the victims' relatives. This comes as Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla revealed in an interview that persons implicated in the missing Sabongeros case were also involved in the Duterte administration's contentious drug campaign.
Okay, kung ganyan po ang nakikita sa mga investigasyon, mas lalo pa po dapat itong palawigin yung pag-iimbestiga rito. Dahil mukhang konektado ang mga nagawang krimen kung ito man po ay mapapatunayan. Hindi po natin sinasabi na sila na po ay guilty, pero mas gusto po ng Pangulo, iuutos po talaga niya na dapat mabigyan ng hustisya ang mga nabiktima.
Self-proclaimed whistleblower Julie Totoy Patidongan previously stated that the missing Sabongeros were slayed and dumped in Taal Lake for allegedly cheating in cockfights. He has also accused gaming tycoon Atong Ang and 3 others as the alleged masterminds of the disappearances, which Ang has denied.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has approved the Local Water Utilities Administration's or LUA recommendation in response to rising complaints over water service outages involving the private water utility company Prime Water Infrastructure Corporation. Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, however, did not reveal the specifics of the plan, stating that the government must first address the complaints about Prime Water's service.
Opo, ang Pangulo po ay naaral na po ang report mula sa LUA at siya po mismo ang nag-aral nito. At ang rekomendasyon po sa kanya ay kanya naman pong inayunan. Rekomendasyon po ay saka na po namin ibabahagi sa inyo. Kailangan po muna naming umaksyon. Hindi po ngayon ang tamang panahon para i-reveal kung ano po ang dapat na gawin ng pamahalaan para sa mga nabibiktima ng kakulangan ng supply ng tubig. Kapag tayo po ay nabigyan na po ng pagkakataon na maibigay po ang detalye kung ano man po ang gagawin ng gobyerno at pamahalaan para sa mas mabilis na pag-aksyon sa mga biktima nito ng kakulangan ng supply ng tubig, ibabahagi ko po sa inyo.
Several local governments and consumers have expressed concerns about prime water service quality in recent months, forcing the national government to intervene. Prime Water, which has joint venture agreements or JVAs with various local water agencies, is part of the Villar family's corporate holdings. According to LUA, the government is considering terminating JVA's Prime Water and local water districts around the country. It was also observed that Prime Water's deal surged around 2019 when Senator Mark Villar was head of the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, the previous administration's supervising agency for LUA.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has directed the government to focus on work and avoid politicking. In a press conference, Presidential Communications Office, PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Marcos devotes his time helping his fellow Filipinos, noting that the chief executive is just thinking about his mandate to serve the people and nothing else. Castro's statement was in response to Vice President Sara Duterte's call on President Marcos to stop politicking and focus on public service instead. She said Duterte is the one who keeps on attacking the current administration's projects and programs, including the 20 pesos per kilogram rice initiative under the Benting Bigas Meron Na program. Duterte, he said, should look in the mirror to reflect, assess her performance, and see if she is either working, politicking, or just on vacation.
Ang Pangulong Marcos Jr., alam po niya ang direksyon niya. Alam po niya ang dapat na gawing trabaho at yan po ang pinag-uutos sa lahat ng public servants, lalong-lalo na po sa ilalim ng executive department. Ang utos sa amin ay magtrabaho. Iwasan ang pamumulitika. Nakita niyo naman po siguro, kanina lamang po ay pinasinayaan niya ang pagbibigay ng 387 na ambulances para sa mga LGUs natin. Nakita niyo na rin po kung paano siya tumulong na mapaunlad pa ang sektor ng agrikultura. Pati na po ang mga mangingisda ay nakikinabang sa binibigay po na tulong at ayuda ng pamahalaan ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. Hindi po nag-aaksaya ng panahon ng ating Pangulo para tumulong sa taong bayan. Trabaho lamang po talaga ang nasa isip ng ating Pangulo. Sa ngayon po ba ay nasaan si VP Sara o si Pangulong, si Vice Presidente nung yan ay sinabi niya? Nasaan po ba siya ngayon? The Hague. Okay, at ang ating pagkakaalam, hanggang kailan po siya doon? Hanggang July 23. So, yun lamang po. Tandaan po natin, ang Pangulo po, aksyon, aksyon, hindi bakasyon.
Vice President Sara Duterte is currently in The Hague, Netherlands to visit her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is staying at the International Criminal Court or ICC detention facility as he faces charges of crimes against humanity for the deaths linked to his drug war. The Vice President said her father's final wish is to be cremated if he dies while in the Netherlands. Sought for reaction, Castro said that is a family matter that will be decided upon by the Dutertes.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang maintained that Presidential Communications Office, PCO Acting Secretary J. Ruiz is still the head of the agency. PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said she has not received any information that Ruiz will be replaced amid efforts to recalibrate the Marcos administration.
Sa aking pagkakaalam, wala pa po. Nananatili pong acting secretary si J. Ruiz. At kapag ka po naman ay merong bago, kung meron man po, kasi yan po yata ay lumalabas sa mga bali-balita, wala pa po ako makukumpirma kasi wala pa po rin dumarating sa akin kung ano man po yung update.
Ruiz was reappointed by Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. after his ad interim appointment as PCO Secretary was deemed bypassed by the Commission on Appointments or CA after Congress adjourned sine die on June 13. The CA failed to deliberate on Ruiz's ad interim appointment because of lack of time. Ruiz earlier expressed gratitude to President Marcos for his continued trust and pledged to continue working with professionalism, integrity, and purpose.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang advised the Filipinos affected by the severe flooding in Kerrville and nearby counties in central Texas to seek government assistance. Speaking to reporters, Presidential Communications Office PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the Philippine Consulate General in Houston continues to monitor the situation of the Filipinos in the flood-hit U.S. state. Castro assured the affected Filipinos of the Philippine government's readiness to extend assistance. To date, no Filipinos have been reported adversely affected by the flooding, Castro said, citing the consulate statement.
Sa ngayon po, ang balita po sa atin ng Philippine Consul General, wala pong Pilipinong naapektuhan. Pero patuloy po ang konsulado natin na nakikipag-ugnayan po sa Filipino community at kung meron po silang pangangailangan ay tumawag lamang po sila at humingi ng tulong sa ating gobyerno. Ang pagtulong po na yan ay hindi po ipagkakait sa kanila. Handa pong tumulong ang gobyerno at ang pamahalaan kung ano po yung pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan doon. At of course, pinagdarasal din po natin ang kalagayan ng mga naapektuhan po sa Texas.
Filipinos in need of assistance may reach the consulate through the number 346-256-4522 and the email pcghouston@atn@gmail.com. The death toll from the catastrophic floods in central Texas caused by heavy rainfall that began on July 2 has reached 109, according to reports.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, or CFO, is intensifying its campaign to protect Filipinos from deceptive foreign suitors and other cross-border scams who lure them into sham or abusive marriages abroad. In a news release, CFO Secretary Dante Angtu said the agency developed a watch list mechanism to detect red flags, prevent fraudulent unions, and track repeat offenders who exploit Filipinos, especially women. The CFO revealed that it now actively monitors a watch list of 356 individuals, including 258 foreign nationals, 60 Filipinos, and 38 suspected marriage brokers reported for engaging in illegal matchmaking activities. To further enhance the initiative, the CFO conducted free webinar series, Hindi Laruan or Not Toys, which shed light on how seemingly innocent foreign suitors can become traffickers in disguise. During the webinar, CFO Supervising Immigrant Services Officer Kimberly Dizon reminded Filipinos, especially women, that not every marriage proposal is made in good faith. The CFO said the webinar focused on Republic Act 10906 or the Anti-Mail Order Spouse Act, which makes it illegal to profit from matching Filipinos with foreign nationals for marriage. It also detailed how informal reto or fixed setups, social clubs, and digital dating apps are often used to lure Filipinos into fraudulent or abusive marriages. Data from the United Nations International Organization for Migration or UNIOM places the Philippines as among the world's top migrant-sending countries, with Filipino women making up 48.1% of all international migrants. The latest global migration trend shows that there are now an estimated 281 million international migrants, or 3.6% of the world's population. Ang said the CFO watch list and awareness efforts align with the Bagong Pilipinas governance agenda of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. The CFO is a lead agency of the Advocacy and Communications Committee under the Interagency Council Against Trafficking. The CFO reiterated its call for vigilance, informed decisions, and responsible reporting of suspicious schemes.
Dateline Malacañang.
And And finally, for Dateline Malacañang, Department of Budget and Management or DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman lauded the institutionalization of open government in local government units or LGUs, saying it will ensure better, faster, and more responsive services to the people. This after Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla directed the LGUs to be frontrunners in promoting open government and ensure that its values are embedded in government policies and programs. The DBM has partnered with the DILG and the PHOGP Project Management Office or PMO in promoting open government among LGUs through initiatives such as the OG Pinas nationwide advocacy campaign and the Giao town halls. The OG Pinas campaign raises awareness on transparency and citizen participation, while the Giao town halls is an institutionalized mechanism for surfacing grassroots concerns and informing policy and decision making. The DBM has also co-led roundtable discussions and bilateral meetings to assess the LGU's readiness in joining the OGP local programs. As of April 2024, the Philippines' 5 active members in the OGP local program are South Cotabato, Tagbilaran City, Bohol, Larena, Siquijor, Quezon City, and Baguio City. Pangandaman said the DILG's fresh directive will lay the groundwork for the operationalization of the OGP localization program to help LGUs become globally competitive open government champions while supporting the co-creation and implementation of open government reforms through active collaboration with civil society organizations.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.